Namaste and welcome to the sixth edition of The Good Grapevine. All the news that's fit to share. Mediterranean edition. Coming up in this episode, we'll be looking at stories from Turkey, Greece, Italy, and the United States of America. First up, a story on the fading institution of traditional, not large chain coffee shops. Regardless of what you feel towards the legalized drug of caffeine, the institution of the cafe started in Italy. Let's check in with a tradition. I'm here at the outside opening of La Bouvette, one of the traditional antique coffee places in Rome. Let's take a look. I'm inside La Bouvette now, and you see the morning is just starting. They just opened at 8 o'clock. It's on a Friday morning, and it's a traditional cafe in Rome. Now, I'm going to ask a few questions, and you'll see in subtitles what I'm actually saying to my friends as we order 5 cappuccini, or Little Red Riding Hood with white hoods, which is what a cappuccino means in the first place. Ti posso fare una domanda? Avete mai sentito di questa ditta americana che si chiama Starbucks? Sì, però non è molto popolare in Italia, vero?
In Italia no, perché ha un'altra cultura sul caffè.
Sì, ecco,
In
benissimo.
Starbucks hanno una cultura, vai a casa, ti siedi con la tazza,
Sì,
il libro.
sì.
Invece qui caffè, grazie a tutti.
Sì, però anche che tipo di cultura? Anche c'è cultura qua. Guardate qui. So you see the pastries here, you see the brownies, you see the donuts, and you see amazing chocolate Nutella and fruit tarts. Here's the traditional orange cake in the morning, and then more of an American influence of a muffin. Traditional cornetti, or the Italian word for a croissant, with not only raisins or chocolate or plain or crème marnier cream filling or cream puff filling, chocolate or Nutella, but also they do mini sizes. If we had mini sizes in America, perhaps we would not be leading the world in obesity. Unlike some of the choices you can get at some popular chain companies around the world, here they don't have soy, they don't have half calf, they don't have red eye triple shot, they don't have 5 different sizes. It's a cup of cappuccino. Let's take a look and see what it looks like. You can get some cappuccino, you can get an espresso, you can get a big cup or a small cup, you can even get some cinnamon on the side. And these are my friends who've been serving me every morning, and they wear bow ties, and it is a chic little area not very far from the Spanish Steps. The purpose of bringing to you this on the Good Grapevine is that it's a dying art, not only around the world, but even in Italy, as big chains are replacing the smaller chains. We support the mom and pops, we support the tradition, and we support, of course, the power of caffeine. From Rome, the eternal city of lights, here for the Good Grapevine, this is Lawrence. Well, it is for sure that it's hard to escape the bustling noise and excitement of putting your finger on the pulse of life when an Italian cafe starts to bloom in the mornings of Rome. Next up, from the island of Rhodes in Greece, we have a little story of express beauty products from a traditional pharmacy not selling so much pharmaceuticals, or pharmaca in Greek, or actually selling beauty products of shampoo and conditioner and deodorant, but actual products guaranteed in Greek law to bring beauty. Let's check in with a brief story of levity. This is Lawrence coming to you from the island of Rhodes in a traditional Greek pharmacy. While they sell lots of different kinds of products, I draw your attention to this specific area with a Greek line called Express Beauty. And a dear friend of mine here is Bernadette O'Brien. Hey, Betty Boo, turn around and say hi to our friends watching.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Now, how chronologically enriched are you right now?
Right now I'm 85 and a half.
There you are. So I think we're going to suggest you the Express Beauty products if you're going to try anything, because you don't want anything that's going to take a couple of years, do you?
Absolutely not.
You got to hurry up.
I bought a peck.
There you go. She bought a whole pack. Coming to you from Rhodes in a pharmacy for the Good Grapevine Special Edition. This is Lawrence. Peace out. We'll leave it to our super buddy to tell us what Express Beauty products will really weigh in on making a difference in the smallest amount of time possible. Next up, a story on pilgrimage from Ephesus, which is not too far from Istanbul, the capital of Turkey. Let's check in with the home of where the Virgin Mary spent her very final days, a religious site of pilgrimage from many faiths. Here in Turkey, near Ephesus, there's the home of the Virgin Mary where she spent her later years, and many faiths actually concur on encouraging pilgrimages here to where the Virgin Mary spent many of her last years after Christ resurrected and enjoyed the ascension. You'll see behind me the wall at which many people come after making pilgrimage to the Mary's home, saying rosaries, leaving gifts and candles, but also leaving their prayers, leaving their requests, leaving their wishes. Not only is this a pilgrimage of faith, it's a pilgrimage of interdenominational cultural gathering, and it's a very spiritually, geographically enriching, peaceful place up in the mountains where Mary spent her later years. From the house of Mary, Merimana in Turkish, outside of Ephesus, for the Good Grapevine, this is Lawrence. From Turkey and Mary's house of Merimana, all the way to not very distant Tinos, an island off of the coast of Greece mainland, very close to Mykonos. The island of Tinos has many, many churches, about 855 to be precise, but one main cathedral off the main port actually is the site of pilgrimage from Christians, Catholics, Eastern Orthodox, and many other religions as well. A church high on a hill, often made to the church, people go on their knees. Let's check in with the Church of Mary the Queen on the island of Tinos. I'm here on the island of Tinos, which is very close to Mykonos, with one of the most traditionally sought-after pilgrimage churches in the world. It's actually a place of lots of international religions and lots of meeting points of different faiths. People come on their knees with little icons, metallic icons of ears and eyes and boys and girls representing their petitions that they want to make. So if you follow me here, you'll see out through the portal long, long stairs that many people actually do on their knees from sea level. And if you follow me along here to look up behind, you'll see more stairs that go up to the cathedral itself. There are more than 1,000 stairs that some people walk, some people do on their knees, or side roads that people with physical disabilities can actually be brought up to via alternative transportation. You hear the Greek Orthodox sung Mass behind me, and as people bring the religious icons through their many, many steps, they leave them on the altar with optional foods for different blessings. It is one of the many spiritual places in the world, representing a place of pilgrimage to bring thought, gratitude, and lots of spirit. From Tinos for the Good Grapevine, this is church. This is the carpet all the way down here to do it all the way up there to go on our knees. Yuri said we're not going to do it. We're going to just walk it, but we're going to do it the Feldenkrais way, which is just think about doing pilgrimages to Italy and Greece and Turkey come to an end. What would a Good Grapevine story be without a little bit of food? Along with cafes and their dying breed around the world these days, bakeries are slowly being replaced by large corporations in most countries of the world. Sad but true. I'd like to share with you one of the last remaining traditional wood-fired 4 a.m. bakeries that begins very early from Mykonos, Greece. So inside the basement of a downtown, the oldest traditional Myconian bakery is the place where you come 2 times a day into the wood-burning oven. Let's have a look. Here is where they mix the flour. Here is the entrance to the street, and this is where it all happens inside the oven. The bread twice a day comes out onto this table, and then it's placed in little baskets. Many things today seem to be going in the way of machines and fast and automatic. We try to keep alive the traditions that Oyorgos is keeping alive, which is the traditional bakery of Mykonos. The original, the downstairs. So you don't pass it, you have to look for it with 2 separate entrances. At the right time you come downstairs and you find bread. The traditional food and sustenance from biblical times that keep people alive from wheat to flour to oven to people. Into the homemade cookies and Quaker cookies and very healthy with wheat. Here we have the baskets of bread. We have a wheat of dark and a wheat of white, and the oldest baker, one of the most traditional people that makes it all happen, is my friend right here. File, postelene.
Yorgo.
This is Yorgol, and you wake up at what time in the morning?
3
4
o'clock.
3 o'clock in the morning. First bread goes into the oven, 4, 5, 6?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, and all the people come and they line up on the streets.
All
And
the wait here.
everyone's waiting downstairs, and it's warm with the oven in the winter. And the afternoon you bake bread again, correct?
11:30.
11:30 for the second lineup of all the people. It's something that tourists pass by because it's hidden downstairs from the street, and we always try to show on the Good Grapevine the people who keep alive ancient traditions. For the Good Grapevine, downtown Mykonos, this is Lawrence. With all the talk these days about gluten-free and carb-free and all these taste-free types of meal plans and diets out there, I hesitate actually sharing the story with you about a traditional bakery. However, I think telling Italians and Greeks and French we're going to take away the bread from your local everyday meal plan would create some sort of civil unrest. Now, a word from our sponsor. Coming up this fall in Orlando, Florida, the ICAA, or International Council on Active Aging, will be bringing together again the best minds in the industry for how to put your finger on the pulse of going forward in time the best way possible, how to age gracefully, with the theme or logo of reinventing aging. Let's check in with Bernadette O'Brien, one of the featured presenters this year. Namaste, Facebook friends and blog viewers, for ICAA 2016 theme in Orlando convention this year, Reinventing Aging. I'm privileged and honored to be with my co-presenter, the most chronologically enriched presenter and certified instructor in the world, Bernadette O'Brien, at 86 years young. Bernadette, can you please tell our friends 2 debut sessions that we'll be offering this year? What's the first one?
The first one is on neuroplasticity.
And what's the refresher crash course, and what does that mean?
That means that we work the mind, the body, in all of their functions simultaneously, including memory and reaction.
With special attention this year into right and left brain functions and training. In our second debut session for Reinventing Aging, never before seen at an ICAA convention.
Barefoot training for the active aging, Lawrence.
And why? What's your number one fear?
My number one fear is the fear of falling.
So what will we be doing with all our participants, whether socks or in bare feet?
We will be doing movements that will help us to take care of our feet, because if we don't take care of our feet, Lawrence, they will not take care of us.
That's it from Super Betty and Lawrence, helping us remember that it's not the years in our life, but the life in our years. From barefoot to brain. See you this Orlando. And now, to conclude this episode of The Good Grapevine, let's head back to the United States, where I recently sat down with 2 directors of the Villa of the Sisters of St. Joseph. St. Joseph Villa, just between Philadelphia and New York City, doing community outreach with not 1 cent of money given by the United States government, depending completely on generosity. That's why they're my charity of choice. 8 of the nuns who taught me years and years ago actually made such an impact in my life that while some of them are still alive at the Villa, I send the money of whatever you buy at findlawrence.com to support their community outreach. Let's check in with what's going on with an active aging message as well, with what happens at the Villa of the Sisters of St. Joseph. I'm privileged and honored to be with, today, Sister Kathleen Pales and Sister Dorothy Apridge. Sister Kathleen Pales has a new position at the Villa. What is the Villa? For those of you who know that almost anything you purchase at findlawrence.com, I support the Villa and their outreach. What exactly, can you tell us, Sister Kathleen, is the Villa?
Well, St. Joseph Villa is a sponsored work of the Sisters of St. Joseph, and it is our retirement home for our elderly and retired sisters, our sisters who need nursing care. But it's also home for over 100 lay residents, all kinds of people, men and women, people from every faith tradition, every background. We're opened and happy to welcome anyone there who needs skilled nursing care.
And that makes me feel so wonderful, because for so many years, a lot of people have said, it's great, Lawrence, you're Catholic, and it's Catholics helping Catholics. It's not. It's Catholics helping the world.
That's right. We have everybody there, a little bit of everybody there. And we're delighted to be able to welcome all kinds of people. They make our lives richer. They make the villa a more lively, interesting place by their presence and by being with us. So we're happy to have them.
The villa is pretty self-contained, right? Except for anything like surgical as an operating room. You have physical therapy, you have hot pools and cold pools, and you have a current renovation, and you have dining facilities and therapy and outings and a store where one of the nuns is currently making your own candy.
She is selling all kinds of different chocolate candy to help raise some funds to support the villa. For our convent floors where our elderly sisters live, there's really no governmental support or outside funding. We're on our own for that. For our skilled nursing care floors, where those who really need that kind of care live, then we are licensed, and so we do get some reimbursement through Medicare and Medicaid. But for the sisters floors 4 through 7, we're on our own, and that's why we're so grateful to people like Lawrence who help us out, and so many donors who've been with us, supporting our mission, and in particular our elderly sisters for so long. We couldn't do it without you.
Sister Kathleen, could you tell us, please, what is your new, about 8-month young title, and what's most challenging about being in that new position?
Well, my new title is Director of Development for the Sisters of St. Joseph, and there's lots of blessings, but yes, you're right, there are a lot of challenges too. One of the biggest challenges that I'm working on and dealing with these days still has to do with the villa, but St. Joseph Villa was built about 50 years ago. So we're coming upon the golden anniversary of St. Joseph Villa. And
50 years, right?
50 whole years, yeah, right. So when we opened in 1968, the villa was a state-of-the-art facility. And we've done a lot of things to keep it in good shape all through the years. But now that she's 50 years old, we, about 2 years ago, launched upon a very ambitious project of renewing and revitalizing and renovating St. Joseph Villa. And as you can imagine, there's a pretty big price tag attached to that very ambitious project. So part of my responsibility is to do the best I can to raise funds to pay for that. We want the villa to continue to be a very comfortable, state-of-the-art place for our retired sisters and for our late residents as well.
And money doesn't come in from the government. It comes in from former students in a very small way.
That's right. It comes in from people like you, Lawrence, all of our amazing donors who really, many of them have been with us for a long time. People who are very faithful to us, who contribute regularly. And really, without our donors, our benefactors, we wouldn't be able to do it. So we're about halfway through that project, and just depending on people's prayers and support to help us bring it to conclusion.
Sister Dorothy Aprich is the executive director of the villa. Sister, can you please tell us what is the most exciting part about being the big boss in charge of everything that happens under all the floors of the villa?
That's a good question, Lawrence. I think what's most exciting is I really have a passion for what I do. I'm really trying to help with the transformation of the culture of aging in our society. You know, it is not an illness to grow old. And generally speaking, what's hard for people as they grow old is dealing with things like loneliness, like boredom, like feelings of helplessness. We address these issues by creating an environment that engages the residents in life, by making sure that we honor their whole life, all of their achievements, making sure that they still have choice and we honor their preferences. They find meaning in life because they find ways to minister to others, even in their old age. I have the wonderful opportunity and privilege to help make a difference in the life of a person every single day. Conversely, our seniors make a difference in my life every day. I love it.
That's beautiful. And you know, 4 of the 8 nuns who taught me who are still alive are in the
Yes.
villa.
I know
So-
that. And they are your supporters 110%.
Supporting
They love Lawrence.
supporting Lawrence and Constance Towers on General Hospital with all the letters
right.
they
That's
write.
right. Absolutely. And we're happy to do it.
The villa also has men, right?
We have men, we have people of all races and cultures, we have people of all faith backgrounds. We're open to everyone, regardless of their ability to pay.
One wonderful thing about a 501c3, if you are a sister of St. Joseph and it comes time to retire, you know you're not going to die alone. You know that you have a place to go. And some people are redefining and reimagining aging because they become more active. I know Sister Loretta and Sister Agnes are hardly in their rooms because
Hardly.
there's so much to do and they give up
That's
service.
right. That is absolutely right. And you know, it's not only true for our own sisters that they never die alone, but our lay residents never die alone at all. One of the things that's true of the villa that I think is not true anywhere else is that the sisters who are retired at the villa actually minister and support the residents who live there, the lay residents, and their families. They sit with them when they're ill, sit with them when they're dying, pray with them, and support their families. It is a perk that you get nowhere else.
Wonderful.
And
I think it's important for me to give back because I would never be, if someone thinks I'm successful or I'm crazy, and maybe both, I would never be who I am if it weren't for the Catholic education years.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful to the nuns who did so much
Yeah.
for me, and that some are still alive and I can still go back
Yeah.
and visit and keep in touch with. It's wonderful that after all those years of teaching, they don't just turn off and go there and sit and read a
No,
book.
not
They're
at all.
still busy.
Not at all. You know, our vision is to create home and community where our residents want to live and in which they thrive. And what I find is very often, once people come to the villa with the added supports, they actually get new life.
Oh, it's
So, you know,
beautiful.
when you say life begins at 80, I see that happen all the time. It begins at 90 and even at 100.
Well, as of today, I hope it begins at 51.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, Sister Kathleen and Sister Dorothy. I appreciate you taking time of your busy schedules to meet with me to talk to us about a very important time in the life of the villa because not anymore state-of-the-art, needing a facelift, in time for the 50th year's anniversary, a golden celebration.
That's right.
It's a wonderful time.
It is. It's exciting. It really is.
So with the Sisters of St. Joseph, the big cheese and the big boss of all development, this is Lawrence in Philadelphia for The Good Grapevine. And so concludes another episode of The Good Grapevine, all the news that's fit to share. This edition, Mediterranean edition from Italy, Turkey, Greece, and the United States. Please make sure you let us know with telling us if you have someone who is inspirational, motivational, or educational so we can profile your news on The Good Grapevine. Until then, keep watching, share, comment, tell your friends, and peace out.